Welcome back, comrades. Today we will take care of this problem. The topic of today in developing the small isolated island is waste and how we deal with it. At the moment we have a gigantic waste disposal which you see in the background, which has space for 1 million tons of waste. And this is enough for a long time, but I want to get rid of the problem because it's piling up. And we also make a little investigation later in this episode of how the waste does pollute and what pollution does to our little city here, which had a starting heating plant, which you see on the left side here, behind the fire station actually. This was the problem. The waste disposals were a problem, and the water outlet was a problem, or is a problem still. But we will not face this time. So the water outlet is here, and it also does no good. So first of all, how to solve the waste problem? If we have no border, like here. So there's a border, but no connection to the outside world. Can only do one thing. In vanilla, we can burn it, and if we have a mod installed, we can ship it out. Or we can first burn it and then ship it out, which is my favorite method for this start here, because if we burn it first, we will get rid of some volume and we will pay less than we have some materials, especially if we look at this here. So the chemical plant has productivity around 25 to 30%, and it will create hazardous waste, which is here. And hazardous waste, to get rid of it, costs 1,000 rubles per ton, around at the moment like 950 rubles per ton. So if I buy a ship which only deals with hazardous waste and get rid of the hazardous waste, this thing will cost me 1,000 rubles per day just to deal with it. So what I can do is burn the hazardous waste together with rest of the waste and ship the ash out. The thing is why I don't want to get rid of the ash by natural progression, so building a lot of dumps, is because I will create unclean ash. So for example, if we burn this here, we have some materials which will stay, and other... Now let's take a look at the waste dump. I think it's more better. So we have mixed waste, which is good. We don't have hazardous waste, because if you pollute your mixed waste depot, you can have hazardous waste, 900 tons of that, and this is really bad. And we have this set up here in the waste department, which is like metal scrap, more than 0%, plastic waste, more than 0%, biological waste, more than 5%, burnable waste, more than 10%, and other waste, which will not burn, but also we pipe it through the incinerator. And the first three of these waste types, first two actually, will create something residues in the waste. We also can get rid of construction material, for example, and it will stay in the burning process. So we need to ship it out, because we will not get clean ash with this. Where I want to create this waste facility is here. So let me just build it. And back we are. This is our little harbor area for waste export. So it comes in here and will go here. So what I've done is create a medium harbor, which is the small harbor, but now it's the medium harbor. It's a vanilla standard harbor. And I have 2 container stands and 1 incinerator, nothing special here, and a road. Let me just make the road building a little bit faster, so I can create some bypasses, like this one here. And go, like, come out. Or maybe, yeah, snapping will help. Okay. So like that. And I can also create a bypass here, from here to there, and so. Okay. Let's see if this works. And so here's one construction office. Do you get it? You can do it. Thank you very much. Okay. So every construction is here under construction office. So we can be a little bit faster than just completing the first road and afterwards the next road and the next road. I've created some corners here. How you create corners is if you look for the road building tutorial. It's a nice topic. I also have added some pollution monitoring stations. For example, this one here, which is under construction. Should be done swiftly. And our dock here is ready. So I can redock some ships, for example, from here. And I also want to create a harbor here because more harbors are needed. Can get rid of this one. And I also moving out this old open storages, which were before this system came into place. So I'm moving out open storage goods here because they are all the way full because all the ships are waiting to unload. So yes, I want to have more space here for further development, and I want to get rid of this harbor, plunk in the new one. Let me just do that. And back we are. I also had to move this harbor here. The purpose of this harbor was the delivery of coal for our heating plant, and I have moved him here. So it's a shorter drive for my coal truck. Yes, everybody would be thankful for that. And I also want to move this building here to there and create another fuel station, which is the first fuel station in the Republic, the real one. Okay. And I want to nuke this one. And let's go back in time and I will explain how and why we have a pollution problem here on this island and what happened. We are now half a year prior before the winter, and what happens is the following. The heating plant just stopped working because it ran out of coal. And I've plunked in some pollution stations and modified our settings because we are on a research mission. So there are no seasons, there is no realistic mode, and there is no research. What comes next is we take a look of the living or lifespan of the people, which I always check if I'm concerned about pollution, because this is a really big one for me. So we have here 62 years. We have on the next one 63 years. We have on this one 41 years. So let me explain. If you have an optimal city on the hardest conditions, you have a lifespan of 80 years, which means you have a population growth around 10 to 20%. Roughly numbers, but you cannot have exact numbers in this game. It all depends on stuff, what you research, for example, and other factors. Did you invite people from the western side? Yada, yada. But if you have 80 years of lifespan, you will grow at least 10% per year. And let's calculate now if you have 70 years of lifespan, which for me is the breaking point. So if you have 70% of lifespan, it is reduced by like 15% roughly the life expectancy of your people. Instead of 80% productive life, you only have 70 years of productive life. So 50% less lifespan means your population also has a pressure of 50% less growth. Negative growth, as we say. Yes. And the breaking point is 70 years around, because then you have zero growth. And if you have 60 years, you additionally have, let's say, minus 10% growth in your population, which is bad. These two houses are bad. I will lose population because of the 60-year life expectancy. And here, 47 years is really, really bad, because you need to have 20 years to educate them. They will work at 21 years, so you only have 50% productivity of your people. Yeah. If he lives 80 years, you have 60 years of productive life. Now we have only 20 years. Super bad. And you also can see here that people moved out of the house by natural causes. Okay. Another indicator is this one here on top. So what's happening here? See, we have several reasons why people are not so healthy. And if we take a look into the details of this one, we see that we have some reasons, for example, stroke or heart attack, which 40% of life expectancy is shortened by this one. But it only happens 14 times. So it's not a big one, you know. So only 14 people of our republic had a stroke. Okay, good. Global pandemic, also 20%, which sounds a lot. But only 4 people are affected by global pandemic at the moment. So it's also not a big factor. Drinking alcohol, minus 6.5%. And quite a lot of people are affected by drinking alcohol. One thing I always go for alcohol because I want to have happy people. And the more they drink, the shorter they live. But they also drink more if they are less happy. So if you have a happy population and you give them everything like sports, for example, which is a good factor in health, and culture, everything what they need, they will drink less. So pub is only a problem if you have nothing else to do. And even then, I have in my previous series a city where I've basically in the winter only a pub working for them, and they also survived. So can be fine. Last one, pollution, only minus 2%. But you see here, everybody is affected in this republic. So this is a problem we need to work with, and I want to examine a little bit. So further on we trot. What can we see except of like life expectancy in the people? We have pollution monitoring stations, and the pollution monitoring stations, just select this and that, I have placed around the republic. What's the nice thing about this one is I have disabled seasons, and we can see the effects of the upcoming winter here still. So if we go into the pollution monitoring station here, and we have numbers now, because I don't like these points. Numbers are way better than points. Here we see in this radius of this pollution station, if we look at the radius, we have one big polluter, which is like 100%. And then we have the average pollution, which is 45%. And these are the numbers we need to work with. If you have housing in the red zone of the pollution, it's bad. So you have like a candidate here, 43%. The big problem he has is the disposal of this one here. Yes, water is flowing out. It's too near the houses. And another big problem was the heating plant here. And another big problem, as it turns out, is the waste disposal. So this one pollutes. And we can look at another one, which is also a good indicator if you have no monitoring stations. It's the water well. So the water quality degrades if you have big pollutions. Here it's like 88%. And or if you have, say, surface buildings in the area of the water unit. So this is this area. If you have surface buildings here, the water quality degrades. If you have pollution here, also water quality degrades. Problem with pollution here is the gas power plant. Where are you? This one here. This one we need to keep, and the gas power plant here, but these are tiny polluters. This one we can deactivate. It's not needed at the moment because we have our big gas plant and it's fine. So, and another polluter is this one here. It's the hazardous waste disposal. And I want to do something to get better idea of this one. So let's go into cheat mode. Cheat mode. Cheat mode, please. Ah, okay. And I want to do something which is under general. I want to reset the pollution. It's the first point. And I want to reset global events because we don't need them. And all global events. Yes. And off you trot. Okay, good. So what do we see now? Let's take a look. Here in our city, at the moment 32% is the biggest polluter in this bubble of him. And 2% is the average, which is super good. This one here. Oh, you see it's going up pretty fast. So it's 78% pollution. And there's nothing which pollutes here. So this one is not... Oh, it's not built. Okay, we are so early in the year. This one is not active because there's no winter. So the only polluter he has is the waste disposal. 99%. And the pollution here in... The pollution in this area is growing. So... shortly, but surely, the average pollution will rise and the bubble will rise until it reaches the city. The rule of thumb is, oh, why are you smoking, comrade? It's a ghost polluter. Okay. So, I also have this oil field here, which does also small pollution, and it adds up. So I don't want to oil field to work too much. And nothing here in the city shall pollute, because it all adds up. What is acceptable pollution in the city? By my standards, acceptable pollution is, for example, the small heating plant, which is here. Oh, and we cannot see it. The old heating plant pollutes 20 tons a year around, if I have it correctly in my head, the number. And if it runs by 50%, the pollution is okay in the city. But because I also have the water output, the pollution is not okay in the city. And I also have some influence here because of the waste dump. Still smoking. Nobody here? Hello. How can you smoke? Okay. I take everything away from you. Interesting. Okay. But we can go to a less smoking area, which is this one here. This is the polluter right next to the hazardous station. And you see here also nearly 100% pollution, and the pollution adds up here. And this can only come from the hazardous dump. It can also come a little bit from the generators, but the small generators are not the biggest polluters here. What does our water supply say? Did you change? No, still 88%. Okay. Do we have some impact on the city because we have resetted pollution and the heating plant is not polluting anymore? So biggest problem here. And you see, they're already recovering. So 70 years, which is fine. And this one here, it's 76 years. And this is what I want. So 76 years is a good measure. You have small population growth. 80 years is, like I said, optimal. But shooting for optimal conditions is not always the best way. Good enough is good enough. So what can we do about it? Having some space. So this one here is the space between industry and the heating plant to the first houses. And it's only 700 and, let's say 800 meters. I usually have more space, at least 1 kilometer, which should protect you from the worst. And also here's the oil field, so it will not protect you from the worst. 800 meters is quite bad. But it's okay, it's manageable. And if you have something here on, they will add up to the pollution of this whole system, but yeah, not so terribly. So what does our monitor say? Pollution should build up. 21%, you see? So the waste disposal does its best. He is still smoking. He cannot do anything. Maybe we can kill you. Bye-bye. Okay. So, I could move this one out of the city. This is really near. it was of necessity. I want to have a quick build. It should be like somewhere here, or even better here. I can also set up some water purification or sewage purification, better to say, to omit this one. This one needs to be liquidated. So this is why I built the incinerator. I want to get rid of this one. It's stinking to high heavens. And people don't like it stinking, as it turns out. You see, heating plant is nuked and we are going down. Do we go up? Come on, 25. Okay. So it's also changing and some effect has the wind, but I'm not sure how. And maybe somebody can write it in the comments if he has looked into the wind. Take some deeper research, but yeah, also need to be a break. So let's go faster and wait until this one does not rise. This one here. So what is the maximum, in other words? Okay, I would say it's around 25%. Going on a higher speed level. 21, 23, 24. Okay. So 20% plus, around 25%. I think 26% at the maximum. And what does our city do meanwhile? Clicking here. So we have one big polluter here as a max. We have 11% pollution in the city. Some time has passed. Let's investigate the houses. 72 years. So some pollution is still, again, creeping in and building up. 72 years. But over 70 years, it is still acceptable for me. And our worst house, it's 75 now. That recovered nicely. And the houses need to be fuller than this one. So bigger, the bigger the house is, the more the number says. So we see here we have an equilibrium of pollution and suffering of the people. I think it's because this is the only polluter who has left. Okay. So one thing I want to see is, do trees help? So we have some trees here. And if I go into the landscape editor and plunk in a lot of trees, do we have a better average pollution here? I would expect if we put in a lot of trees here, I would have a lower average pollution here. So let me do that. So I have plugged in a lot of trees. And let's take a look if it does anything. Still 25% here. And this is the pollution situation. Okay. Let's take a look into the city. Still 11%. So let's do the following. Let's reset the pollution and see if it rises again to the level like before. So I want to reset pollution. Bang. Oops. City. And you. The nice thing is, with the waste dump, we have a good polluter which should be very constant in their pollution level. So, a factory can go up and down, this oil field can go up and down, but the only pollution which can come from here is the waste dump. There are also some dumps here for construction material, and but these are aggregates. I don't think that they will pollute. Okay. So, we have already 10% here, average, and 7% in the city. So, let's go a little bit faster. And we can see here 20% average. Oops. So it has the level like before. At the average, at the whole bloom of where he records it. And we have a big forest in between the city and this one. So I expect the average to go down and not to Here 22%. And again in the city, we have a little bit more than before. We have even 15% now. So I think we can go a little bit further on fast forward. So nobody says, no, Dennis. Okay. Let's wait until daytime, maybe. And daytime will not come. So simulation is stopped. Who's the night and day? Okay. So I go on normal speed. Normal speed, fast forward. But you see here, 25% average, 24, 25 near the dump, and 15% in the city. So I would say it's proven that trees don't do diddly when it comes to pollution. At least not in this way that you plant a big forest here. And these are all grown forests because I have placed them with landscape editor. So these are not young trees and small trees. Can say, oh, okay, but you need way more trees to have an effect. But where does it stop? So like here, this is a green belt. Can say like 100 meters thick or 200. Let's see. And this is where you need the forest to have effective shield. Oh no, go away. To have an effective shield against pollution. So here. We have like 400 meters from here to there, and we have a green shield like, yeah, a little bit less than 400 meters. 200, between 2 to 400 meters. And it does not do a thing. Okay. Let's go back to our constructions. And back we are in the present time. So, what helps is get rid of this waste dump as fast as possible, because this will do no good for our people. And also get rid of this waste dump here. These are the biggest things I can do. Also, this generator does not need to work anymore. Okay. And this generator here on top, we can also replace because we have a big power plant. So let's see here. Having these polluters near the city is no good. So we have a new one here. And I want to plunk it in like here. Is everything covered? Yes. Should be everything in range. So I have this one. Okay. So most of the city is in range here. We'll go in here. Okay. Good. So if this one is built, I can take further measures like taking this generator offline. Oh, he has taken... Oh no, that's the water supply. I'm sorry. Where are you, generator? Here you are. Okay, yeah. Good. And he's working hard to keep the city floating. And you also see that this one is in the trees. And also we have here bad water quality. Now it's 85. So that's not good. Why do I want to have the best water quality possible? Because you need to have more chemicals to clean the water if you are in the water cleaning business. So having a clean water well is good. Okay. This harbor is under construction. Yes. Good. Maybe we will prioritize it so it goes a little bit faster. This thing is under deconstruction. It was the heating plant. Okay, should be fast. Some working days. My deconstruction office at the moment. Let me show you. Has only three vehicles, 2 kinds of vehicles, a bus, and some waste disposal units, which seems to be the biggest problems. Okay. They can dispose this thing away. That's fine. Okay, let's take a look here. So, roads are getting built. I can remove some roads. Very... Yes. This one should stay. Okay, this harbor is getting built, which is super good because harbor is one of the bigger things to build. It needs a lot of concrete and it needs a lot of work days, so 2,100. Which is a big plus of the new smaller harbor, which needs less work days, but not every ship. So only smaller ships can hold there. For example, the Ignatov is too big for the smallest harbors, for these ones here, the new small harbors. But the riverboats, for example, are perfectly fine. Okay. This one is getting rid of. Here's the one storage, and they will take out some of the storages. Good. So I think we make a little cut here, and back we are a couple months later. And this is the ultimate solution for island waste disposal. So this is a barge, and there are several combinations of it. It's a type 64. It set me back 150,000 rubles, and his main purpose is to collect all the ash which is created by our incinerator and ship them out to our neighbor friends. Yes, I think one problem less on this island. So this is how it goes. Here's the incinerator, and he will burn the ash and load it here to this storage, which is a temporary storage, a transfer storage for this ship. And he will pull everything here out. Let's see if there's something here. No, at the moment we are not quite functional. First waste truck is maybe on the way. I have set up here some garbage trucks, so they will pull out everything from this dump and the hazardous waste dump from later on. And here comes one. Maybe there. Ah, okay. We are incinerating. And we are storing. Or is he already? Ah. Starts to load. Okay. So. This is what we have at the moment. And the amount of money you see, -4 rubles, is not so bad. Yeah. So we will not go bankrupt because this thing creates a lot of hazardous waste. And we can go to the next step. So I hope you see you next time and have a good day. Bye, comrade.